Working on this Bally 8-ball Deluxe. It's a restoration I've been doing. We're going to talk a lot about that restoration here soon. But right now, just got it back up and running, and a few issues. Some lights are out, so I'm going to be patching up some of that old wire work, and see how we can get this thing back up and running. So yeah, I've got a couple of wires here loose. This one goes right here. Get the old soldering iron heat up. I'll tell you what, while the soldering iron's taking its few seconds to heat up, there's a second one just a little bit lower right here. I need to go ahead and strip this wire so we can get this done. Okay, perfect. It's really more insulation. I removed more insulation than I really needed to, but that's okay. And one thing I like to do, this is probably just soldering 101 for some people, but I like to go ahead and put the solder on the wire before putting it over on its connection. And for me, this is like a difficult way to solder, because there's no weight or anything. You're just sort of putting it on that wire, and can't press hard, of course, but it's the wire's taking it, so it's good. Let's get this black one. Just have to twist the wire a little bit different angle. Doing something like this, you especially want to be careful how much solder you have on the end of your iron when you're doing that, because drip solder down in your machine causes short and not be able to find it ever. Okay, so here we go. Since we have some new solder on the wire, sometimes that'll just, yep, there we go. You see, I like to leave as little bare wire out here as possible. I like to that's why I like the insulation cut a little bit shorter than I have this one. I don't know if you can even see that. This one we gotta be a little careful, because there's all kinds of wires in the way, and you don't want to burn these if you can help it. A lot of times with this old solder, everybody knows this, but it won't melt unless you put new solder in it. But like I say, I've got solder on the wire, so it should be good to go. I gotta get these wires in a little better spot there, actually, because I'm just not liking what's going on with them coming out in the way. I know me, and I will burn into that other wire's insulation. I'm good at that. Alright. I just like to give them a good little tug. Alright. This up here, I had to add a little bit more of this bare wire here in between these two lamps, because for whatever reason it was gone. We're going to do a little lamp test here to see if there's any more out that should be aware of. So we're going to have to go into the test mode after it boots up. No, I do not have sound. That went out last night. Alright, so let's hit this test button. Now we're doing a nice lamp test. Oh, I see you're not working. There it is. Oh, I love these old Bally light sockets. They're the best. Oh, we got one here. There's one. Huh. Got a whole string out right here. And these are out right here. Matter of fact, this whole thing that I was working on. Huh. Okay. So we're going to have to look into some wiring for that. I know there's something going on. We got alright, let's look at this one. This one might go to working, because maybe not. Wiring's good. Alright, we'll have to pull the bulb out and look at that one. That's not. Let's see the back box. I did have to do a little work on those lights already, but yep, everybody's working good. You see I got these lights working. So the problem is the bare wire that's in here. I'm not exactly sure where it's supposed to connect, but anyway, there was no connection to it to any other, so I did a alligator wire from there, this circuit that's live. I put it to the right here where this whole circuit was dead. Everything's working. I got a bulb or two that's out of course, but it's just going to take a matter of just wiggling them. Let's put it in the test mode here. Let's just see what happens here. Alright, so we got this one's out. Okay. And if these things continue to give a lot of problem, I'm not going to put a lot of time and effort into working on these sockets because they suck. Even the new ones aren't that great. Otherwise, they are all working except for this one right here. So, hey, well, why don't we just address it? So one big no-no that I know I'm guilty of, I know a bunch of other people are too, is working on stuff with the power on, especially when it's lights. Switch is something that you got to get down in where it's tight, leaving the power on. No, no, no. I've blown out a couple of good pinball machines doing that. But anyway, the best way to fool with these, especially these old Bally or any old game, these sockets, they get brittle. Don't bend them back out and stuff to try to change them or whatever you're doing on them. Just take them loose. It takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it because you end up breaking the less of these sockets and thus having to deal with them. Anyway, let's pull this out. One thing, yeah, I like to take these and take that little wire. One side goes into the bulb, the other side just sort of hangs over. And I like to pull them over to the side. That way, make sure you get a little contact. But, and this is my favorite thing about these old Bally sockets. See, so I'm moving them back. They can be a real pain. I say can be. They are a real pain. It's not can be. There we go. All right. So actually, I'm going to need to deal with this because that might be the whole reason. There might not be enough current coming over there. So let's just get rid of it.